Welcome in, Geminis, to your monthly tarot reading. So we are tapping into the month of March. So we are already into March. We have the winter ending, and we have at the end of March, right, we're changing to spring in the Northern Hemisphere. So that's kind of exciting. It's already crazy that the winter's kind of wrapping up. I know I'm in like the North US, and we're still not out of the woods in March for winter. We probably still potentially could get snow to like mid-April. So, it's exciting that March has come around. Especially in the US, a lot of people celebrate St. Patrick's Day, so that's a holiday to look forward to in March. But yeah, this is for Sun, Moon, Rising, or Venus Geminis. We're going to take a look at what's going on for you guys, any information and guidance that can help you this month. Just a couple things, I guess, to hit. I go in more depth in the weekly readings. And I just kind of painted my nails, so I'm kind of going to try and shuffle so I don't mess them up. So sorry about that. But Venus goes retrograde literally on March 1st. So that's something to just be aware of in Aries. The Venus retrograde is going to it starts in Aries. It kind of steps into Pisces for a little bit and then goes back into Aries. So you got that fire and water energy. That's a potentiality for, people to come back from your past. Exes might text you, but, obviously because it's a retrograde, it doesn't mean that's the key here. The retrograde kind of tends to make us kind of revert or go backwards a little bit. So people might be prone to connect to the past and be nostalgic. I would say be a little cautious about if people come back from the past or an ex comes back and is trying to potentially, light that spark again or something. Be cautious because that retrograde can kind of confuse people a little bit. And usually then when it goes direct again, it's more than likely that it would go away again. It can also cause potential breakups for people during a Venus retrograde. It's really going to cause any sort of issues or anything that you've tried to shove under the rug. That's bringing it all up. So again, things are going to kind of blow. You can't kind of ignore any sort of issues in regards to relationships. And it is a time when people do break up, but a lot of times when people break up during the retrograde, I'm not saying everybody, but they have a potential of getting back together. And then also since Venus does hit love and finances, it is a time where spending can go awry. You could unexpectedly get larger bills. And it can create some impulsive behavior when it comes to spending, so just watch yourself. But yeah, the Venus retrograde. We also have Mercury going retrograde in March, so again, that impacts communication and technology. So you can take a look at the dates for that. Let's see, I actually do have them here. So Mercury... Where is it? Mercury goes retrograde on the 14th. But on the positive side, we have Jupiter and Mars finally went direct in February. So at least that's kind of clearing up. So that's positive. So I just wanted to hit that largely. Those are the big ones for the month. And then just so you guys know, as far as there's a full moon in Virgo on March 13th, and then a new moon in Aries on March 29th. So usually it's like a new moon, then a full moon, but the new moon in Pisces, there was a new moon in Pisces literally February 27th. So that kind of hits at a weird time at the end of the month. So then we have the full moon and then the new moon Aries. So the themes, right, Sun's in Pisces this month, so kind of, I guess, key theme words are intuition, dreams, transcendence, unconscious, like emotional depth, like that's all Piscean. So Geminis, for you, you are an air sign. So March is asking you to dive into the unconscious. Be careful with that mixture with the Mercury retrograde again, because again, Mercury rules Gemini. So that communication piece, how are you communicating how you're feeling? Are you communicating how you're feeling? Potentially it's causing you to kind of go more inward during the retrograde, kind of re-looking at how you're feeling and why, maybe looking also back at some things that happened in the past, reassessing relationships, or just how you can communicate better in relationships. So there's that piece. A lot of Piscean energy lately. All right, let's get started here. It is dusk here, so I'm always drawn. I love dusk. I think it's such a, the atmosphere, it's kind of a magical time. So I do get like drawn to read at this time of the day, except it's not good for lighting. So we'll try and use up the light, and if I need to, I can turn on some more lighting here. But let's see. All right, Geminis, let's stop talking. So themes for the month, for you specifically, protection, the cave of the hands, Argentina. It's 33. Protection. 44, interesting. We go from 33 to 44. Vitality, the sun. So there's some aspect of like moving upwards, a new level of awareness, or some kind of movement forwards. And then 18, growth, the Amazon rainforest, Brazil. So almost like you're seeking protection here. Saying this card, protection, it's like a caveman in a cave. And the caves are kind of where they would, like, they're shelters where they would protect themselves from the weather or potentially other animals or things like that. So it's almost like a protection. You're seeking protection from something. It could be outside things going on, some chaos, or just like seeking a level as you're going through something. I do feel like there's also divine protection right now for you. Something is guiding you. It's almost like the light at the end of the tunnel here. The sun is like shining again. So if you, and in here, this card, it's like you're in a dark cave. So maybe you've kind of been going inward. There can be that sense too of going inward in the cave. Or you just feel like you've been in this dark period. You haven't felt much vitality or sunshine, which equates to like happiness or good positive feelings. I do feel like that's shifting in March. And there's some level of like growth because of this, what you've been through, the journey you've gone through of being kind of more in this dark place for a while. Maybe feeling like disconnected from people. There's some level of disconnection here too, because this person is like alone in the cave. But I feel like there's a period of more abundance coming in, like with the Amazon rainforest here. There's more abundance. I feel like there's a new level of growth for you because of what you've been through in the past, Geminis. The sun shines again, right? And that sun, right? So you need the sun for, you know, nature, plants, all of the things to grow. And I think as that energy shifts and you're feeling more happiness and positivity, I mean, that's helping you also things in your life to grow and shift. And there's a new level, like our period of abundance. All right, let's pull some more from the tarot. So underneath we have the Six of Fire, which is Wands. So we have the Six of Wands. So definitely overcoming a period. You're at the point of like, you're coming out of the other side of the battle or the dark period. I like that. Four of Cups. A period of a lot of disappointments. A lot of disappointments, like a period of like, hey, when am I ever gonna, is this ever gonna end? Like, is this ever gonna end? There's kind of that energy too of like, I can't do anything. Like, it's almost like you felt out of control, like you had no control in the unit. It's just like you're getting hit or losing things, and just, there's a lot of focus on that aspect with the Four of Cups, like focusing on what you don't have, what you've lost, what's not working. And that's very disappointing or disheartening. Tower. Yeah, the Tower is what's coming in to blow up this like stagnancy, this almost this mindset or beliefs that have also been something I feel that have been programmed within you since childhood potentially. And it's like just a period to finally, those ideas, beliefs, programs need to finally like be alchemized for you to kind of get out of a stuck kind of pattern. Nine of Pentacles, there's that abundance, like aligning with your authentic truth as well, because this isn't truth. If you have those beliefs about, you know, it could be victim mentality or like, oh, nothing, like maybe I'm just always going to be stuck, or maybe I'm never going to have this, or poor, like, you know, and you may think, I'm not poor me, but like some of those mindsets are kind of a poor me, like, you know, nothing ever good happens to me, or like I see other people always, like seeing them experiencing all these new things and changes and growth and blah, 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 and not me, right? But like, again, once you align to your actual higher truth, that's not your higher truth. These are like, again, recordings that have been programmed within you by your environment, your experience, heartaches, family, ancestral karmic kind of belief systems as well. The World, love that. So endings and new beginnings here. I'm gonna have to turn on some light here. So yeah, endings and new beginnings. I like this. The World. You're closing up a chapter that's been a lot, you know, in this energy here. I think these things have blocked you as well from potentially like manifesting abundance or just feeling good in general. Maybe it's just there's a pattern of just never feeling good where you are in your life. Things just, again, there's always, you're focused on what's not working or what you don't have, which is also kind of the root of your behaviors, your outward actions, and how you're interacting with the world and potentially your relationships, which has not created an atmosphere or environment of abundance or positivity or feeling good or feeling the vitality of life. Maybe you feel like you haven't felt the vitality of life in a long time. So I like this for you guys, Gemini. So let's keep going. I have the Eight of Pentacles. So there's something around work. Hierophant. Chariot. So I'm hearing something about diligence with the Eight of Pentacles. like being diligent, consistent in your again, outward actions. So what does that mean, outward actions? It's any action or outward movement you make. So everything we do, right, is an outward action, whether it's like getting up in the morning, brushing our teeth, responding to emails, calling somebody, eating food, taking a shower. But our outward actions also can be about, like, how do we react or respond, right? So there's some diligence here of consistently shifting, to me, the emotional state, because the cups is emotions. So these sort of beliefs and ideas are really rooted in emotions or emotional pain, emotional wounding, a lack of support that we received, again, in our childhood potentially. But this is doing the inner work, but also being highly conscious and aware of how we react or respond in the world, how we respond to people. And there's something here about, like, really diligently, potentially getting support from a teacher or guide or like spiritual advisor here, because there's something that you need to do to work through these old programs, these old dogmas that you've been programmed with. A Hierophant is also about traditional things that are very traditional structures, ideas, beliefs, morality that is really stuck in the old way, which we're stuck in the past. And to evolve and grow and to find the vitality of the current moment, which is the energy of, again, abundance, alignment, all these things, we have to clear all these old stagnant things that are actually keeping us tied to the past. So that's the key here when we think of, like, dogmas from, it could be our religions, our family, our cultures. It's what really is happening here when we think of the term tradition, traditions, traditional. In reality, what that means is we are keeping ourselves tied. It's the ties that bind us to the past or to people for stability, comfort, connection. Security, right? And we need to break free of this stuff. And that's all of a sudden when we do this and are consistent with our, again, our shifts, our changes, and are diligent about it. That's when we feel the Chariot, the 7 card. The Chariot is what's really the momentum or the energy that's moving things forward in a positive direction for us. So that was a big explanation for the 3 cards. But I guess it needed to be said. 5 of Air, which is the 5 of Swords. The Messenger of Fire. And the 3 of Swords. So the Messenger of Fire would be the... sorry, that's the... I'm having a block here. The Knight of Fire. The Knight of Wands. The Knight of Wands here. And the 3 of Swords. So we are moving away from pain and heartache and wounding. Okay? We also may have to go through this again to move us forward. So it's like finally facing and alchemizing the pain, the heartache, whatever that means for you. Maybe you have been going through it recently. Maybe this is something really a lot from the past, the far past. Whatever that is, I do feel like there's this, the 5 of Swords, there's some form of manipulation or control that I think you need to work through. So this could be you. Could be you really being highly aware, like I said, of your outward actions, how you react and respond to the external world. And it could really, finding the awareness of, like, hey, maybe no one wants to say I'm a manipulator, right? And when we think of a manipulator, we think of something really, you know, dark and divisive. But in reality, manipulation can be, there's a spectrum, right? And manipulation can just be like, how do I interact with the world? And maybe I don't feel safe enough that I need to control. So this need to control everything is a form of manipulation. If you're a person that's like, yeah, I'm kind of a control freak, that's a form of manipulation, because you're essentially manipulating usually people and situations in your life to ensure an outcome that keeps you feeling safe and secure, and potentially avoiding change. Because a lot of people who fit this kind of characteristic don't like change. And that's why they're manipulators. So they're trying to create and manipulate situations, maybe not consciously, but there's this level of work that needs to be done, like inner work, to work through this. So this could be you. It could be someone you're tied to. But what's interesting here, I'm not seeing much reference to like somebody else. So this to me is more like you, Gemini. But we have this Knight of Wands here. So there could be also a pattern that you attract people in your life that are non-committal. Like they're very like flaky, like they come in and they come out, but they're really, there's a lot of selfishness around these types of people. And again, this could be something ancestral that and traditional about these types of people. You could be really impulsive in your own natures. So again, there's a theme here about what is your outward action? How do you respond and react to the world? That seems to be a big theme here, Gemini, for you in March. Being highly, highly aware of this and shifting your outward actions to change your manifestations, to change how the world reacts to you in that mirror of life. So let's get one more row. Queen of Water, Queen of Cups, the Five of Cups. There's definitely something about grief and loss here that's stuck. And this could be grief and loss that has been passed through your ancestral line. If you look back at both lines and your ancestors, where do you see grief and loss and heartache, like this theme? And then the Ten of Pentacles. So there's definitely an intuitive nature to this. It's really kind of connecting intuitively to your emotions and really diving into the depths of whatever is this grief and loss and heartache that maybe you're completely unconscious of, like you're not conscious of this at all. But look back at your past and look at what is the grief. Is there a pattern here, or if there's something that happened in your past? I think it's still stuck. I think it's still very active in your unconscious, in your energetic field, and this has been blocking you. And I definitely feel like a big thing that's calling out is we may think, well, it's a block in our relationships, which it is, but I feel like it's essentially how it's manifested in you as different personality traits, coping mechanisms. Again, it's the root of defining how you interact with the world and how you either react or respond. But two, I think it's blocking abundance. And there's definitely this tie to with the Ten of Pentacles of the family, of the ancestral line here. And there's definitely heartache that needs to be cleared. And even you could be really, if you're like, well, nothing hugely tragic has happened to me personally, but even if it happened to your parents or your grandparents, that energetic imprint is like being passed and tells somebody if that generation didn't integrate, alchemize, fully feel and work through that pain and grief, that's going to pass to the next generation and the next generation. So let's see, what's the What's the messenger of fire here about? So the Knight of Cups. So there's this interesting tie to me. This is expressing itself as how you love, how you've been loved, and the types of relationships you attract. This could also be your, like, how the love is just expressed in your family, and that has been a trend now in your relationships. But this has to do with love and this like non-committal energy, or being very protective. Maybe you have a wall up to love, to people. Again, you may be someone who's like, all I've tried to do is get love and to love people, and I always attract people that aren't. So again, but that's a reflection, that's a mirror here. So definitely something there. And then let's see, what's the Three of Swords, Five of Cups, Nine of Swords. Yeah, it has manifested itself as a lot of potentially fear, or if you deal with anxiety, overthinking. Okay, I do feel like this is starting to manifest itself or express itself in your dreams right now, because it's really calling you to heal this, to integrate. But if you're someone who has high anxiety or deals with anxiety, it is because of there's a root, there's parts of you that are still stuck in this heartache and grief that you need to work through. And look at the moon. So yeah, this is very unconscious stuff, completely unconscious. You can take your anti-anxiety meds, but that is not going to help you to, again, get rid of the anxiety. You need to alchemize it. And the only way to alchemize it is you got to go deep. You got to go dive into the deep of the unconscious, of your emotional body, to really find these parts that are stuck and help to work with them, to integrate, and to provide them the validation, provide them the support and care that they needed that you never received at the time. And, you know, the Hierophant too, like I said earlier, could be advice for you to work with someone. If you really are dealing with this, and this is deep kind of wounding and trauma that you need to work through, definitely advise to get someone to work with who's an expert, you know, in that field, to help you guide you to really work through that. Interesting. So it is a month that's really going to ask you to really look deep, to really face the mirror, to really become aware. But the amazing thing about this is the light at the end of the tunnel right now. So vitality is starting to come more in, the more you again are consistent and diligent about working with the energy and working with your inner landscape here. And things are going to move forward fast once you start doing that. And look at this. It's going to clear any confusion, Geminis, and anything blocking you from your dreams, your desires, is going to clear, so that those things start coming in. And you're getting spiritual wisdom. You're expanding from again, like a dimensional energetic frequency to the Hermit. And there's a lot of clarity coming in, and you're going to move forward to a place where you're going to feel less fear, less anxiety, less overthinking, and just things are going to become easier in general. Your experiences are going to, again, flow better. Communication is going to be better. Again, clarity with the King of Swords and the Six of Swords here. So look at that. Awesome. Well, I'm going to leave you with that, Geminis, for March. Share it with other Geminis you know if you think this would help them. If you like the reading, hit that like button and let me know in the comments how this kind of fits in with you or what you're going through right now. Definitely like to read how everyone's doing. So, all right, I'll leave you with that. Have a great March, and I will see you in the next reading.